Hello and welcome to all our viewers from around the world. I'm Kristen Schwartz, licensed midwife and MC here at Gold. And here today I have a very special guest with me. It's Gretchen Becker Crabb. Welcome, Gretchen.
Hello, thank you. It's great to be here.
It's great to have you back. You are now one of our regulars here at Gold. You've been at Lactation Conference, and now you are in a brand new symposium that we're putting on this year. It's the Gold Early Years Symposium of 2022, and you will be speaking there as well, right?
Yes.
Wonderful.
Right. Yeah.
Absolutely fabulous to have you here. So, Gretchen, before we jump into the actual presentation, I want to get our viewers be able to get to know you a little bit. I know you're an occupational therapist and you're also a lactation consultant and so much more. You're wearing so many different hats. So tell us a little bit about your background and your journey.
Yeah, so just like you said, I'm an occupational therapist by design, who then became a certified lactation counselor because I became really interested in feeding. And then after I struggled with my first in lactation, I just needed to learn more. So became a certified lactation counselor and a La Leche league leader. And then in about 2015, I took a capstone program in infant mental health and decided that I needed to learn more. So I went back to school and became a licensed professional counselor as well. So, but even though it sounds like I wear a lot of hats, they're all very much integrated. And yeah, so I do that work here in Madison, Wisconsin, and I own my own private practice and do a lot of consultation outside of the clients that I see as well.
Absolutely fabulous. Yes, you are right. It sounds all very integrated. They're all connected,
Yes.
These different areas, of course, lactation there as well, and infant mental health. And I want to talk to you a little bit about the infant mental health component there, because I feel like this is something that just recently we're paying more attention to, right? I mean, before we focused more on the biological well-being, on nutrition and such, we're like in little infants, but now we're also looking into infant mental health, and it's astonishing the things we're learning there. And I feel like we're just scratching the surface. We haven't gone very deep into the research. There is research, but I feel like there's still so much more to come. Talk a little bit about what you see in your field.
Yeah, so infant mental health is fascinating, and I really do think it's kind of like it's kind of like the combination of all those worlds into one. But really, the idea behind infant mental health is that babies are born competent human beings. Like they know what's going on in the world around them, even though they might not be able to like verbally have a conversation about it. They have a conversation with their bodies, and it's really about quieting and listening to what it is that the infant is trying to tell us and what the infant is communicating. And as well as it is supporting the people who are most important to that infant. So it's how do we listen to the baby? How do we listen to the families? What do the families need so that they're better able to listen and support their children? And that ripples out, right? So then that ripples out to us as providers and agencies and systems. And so, but really at the core of all of it is infants, and it's our future. And so the premise behind it is that if we can continue to support and better support our infants and our families, then we can have a larger impacts on our world as a whole.
Absolutely. Yes. And you're so right. It is interesting because, infants know the world around them. They're not just little passive passengers, right?
No.
And it's astonishing because I know that's the old thinking from, even decades and hundreds of years ago that people believed, the infant is coming into the world and we have to teach it everything. It doesn't know anything. And, bonding that develops later and things like that. But we know now, even already in utero, the little ones have personalities and that you can bond in utero. And when I talk to my pregnant families, I always talk to the partner and the pregnant person, talk to the baby in utero, talk to, the baby already knows your voice and the scent as well, and then sometimes parents come back like, what do I tell them? I feel silly just talking to myself. And I'm like, just tell them how the weather is outside or something, and this is so interesting, you know, and I remember reading years and years back with Dr. Brazelton, how, you know, with the baby, the very famous experiment when I think, and you probably know this a little better than me, but what I've read is, you know, had a female nurse talking to the baby and the mother, and the baby would always turn towards the mother, right? And the same with a male nurse and talking and the daddy, and the baby would also turn to the daddy. And when I first read that, when I became a midwife, I'm like, oh my God, this is incredible, because that shows us, you know, how conscious these little ones already are, you know, in utero and just, you know, right after birth. So there is a lot we can do with bonding, and right, I mean, so I find it very exciting, that field.
Yes. It is. And I think it's one of those fields that the more I learn, the more I need to know, you know what I mean? The more I realize that I don't know and I need to keep learning. So, and I really appreciate that about that field. You're never done. You know, like as you start that journey, you're really, there's no way to like check the box and be like, yep, did that. It's what do I need to continue to learn? How do I look at this? And there's so many different layers, again, that impact a child and family. And I think that's what's so exciting about that work.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's absolutely fascinating. So now I want to get a little bit into the presentation, and the title of your presentation, I absolutely love this: Scent-Sational Connections, the role of olfaction in development. So talk about that. I mean, I can think about scent and smell and how that all comes together. So what can we look forward to here?
So I've been an occupational therapist for about 22 years, and one of my specialties has been sensory integration and working with children who've had sensory integration differences. And I think that what I found is that most people think about sensory integration and they think, you know, kids are like jumping on trampolines and swinging on swings and, you know, like all these, you know, which is part of it, absolutely. But what's often forgotten about is the sense of smell. And our sense of smell is one of the most important ones that helps with bonding and memory and feeding. And so when we're thinking about this and we're thinking about attachment for children and learning for children, we absolutely have to be thinking about the olfactory system. So that really was like part of my motivation to do this presentation, in part so I could learn more as well, because I forget about it too sometimes. So I'm really hoping that this is something that we can explore together, but not only just through me chatting about it, but really through everybody who's participating to play with scent and to see what it is that they experience through the scent of smell.
I'm very excited about that, because you will have actually participants do little experiments. So it's almost like a little workshop. I'm fascinated. I'm really excited about it. So we get to do some work ourselves and while we're learning. So, and you're so right. Smells are so important. I think many of us as adults can still remember some favorite childhood smells or scents, right? For me, it is my grandmother's kitchen. I love it. The smell of the mixture of coffee and cake and a little bit of other, you know, baked goods and things like that. I'll never forget that. So I believe everybody has their own kind of memories that they or scents or smells that they remember or like to remember from you know, even early childhood. So it's very, very important scent there. I am so looking forward to this, Gretchen. I can't wait.
Me too.
Wonderful. Absolutely fantastic. And your presentation will be live on September 26th. As I mentioned, it is part of the Gold Early Years Symposium of 2022. We have 2 days, full days of presentation, September 26th and 27. And of course, and this is for our viewers now, all our presentations are always recorded. So if you cannot be there for the live day, you will have access to them to watch them at your leisure, those presentations. And we hope speaking to Gretchen here has motivated you to learn more, to find out more, and be part of this and take part in this smelling workshop with Gretchen here during the symposium. And if you would like to find out more about this presentation and the other presentations in the workshop, we invite you to visit goldlearning.com. Thank you again, Gretchen, for sitting down here with me and chatting, and thank you to all our viewers here. Bye-bye, everyone.